Welcome back to the Jesse Rucinski Show. Happy Friday to all. Thanks for joining me. And I said that as enthusiastically as I could because, well, it is Friday. So it's supposed to be a good day. Most people appreciate Friday because that means they can actually do stuff during the weekends. I know a lot of people that don't, but I'm just saying, it's normally a very happy day. So I tried to at least put some energy into that. Before we get into anything, I do want to say one thing because it's not worth a whole entire show, but if you're one of those people that supports Ketanji Brown Jackson, going to the Supreme Court just because she's the first black female to do it, just because of that, after sympathizing with pedophiles out loud, like in court, she was sorry that she had to give them such a big sentence when she didn't even do the maximum minimum for a lot of them. And especially if you have kids, you're actually disgusting. You're way worse than anyone's called anyone on the right during this whole entire time. You are actually a pile of garbage. You're Peter Schmidt. If you watch Family Guy, at least you might get it. At least when I did watch Family Guy. But if you support that just because of who she is, you are blinded by your political party and are actually what is 1,000,000% wrong with the country as we speak. Just again, sympathizing with pedophiles and being sorry that she had to give them such a long sentence after being caught with like kiddie porn and stuff. Exploiting kids. I mean, who doesn't love that? I mean, Dems do, a lot of them, a lot of people apparently. But if you support her, like even with that, you're blinded by that and your morals suck, especially if you have kids. And also all the people freaking out, the don't say gay bill when they don't even mention it, in Florida, what they keep calling it that. Like if you actually have a problem with making it so teachers can't talk to children, as young as 5 about sex and all that other stuff, you also fall into that category of the first one. Like there's actually something physically, like mentally wrong in your head that you can't separate, what's party supporting her and putting her up there. It up there over the fact that we shouldn't be talking to 5-year-olds about sex. Like, oh, well, this suicide rate keeps going up. Well, I wonder why. Because you're confusing them even higher when they're already in the most confusing stage of life, unless, well, you get married, then a lot of confusing things then. But if you're one of those people, none of you that listen are, for the love of God, like actually open your eyes, because like it's clear as day, and right there they don't mention the word gay. They just make it so you can't talk to 5-year-olds about sex, which you shouldn't be doing anyway. Which means actually, if you're mad about it, but you think that pedophilia is bad, but you're mad that they made a bill that you can't talk to 5-year-olds about sex. Why would someone, an adult, be trying to talk to a 5-year-old about sex and like that's something for to keep with the parents, not just talk about all this stuff and all the stuff they do like in school. Like, sorry, it's actually kind of gross if you support teachers being able to do that. Just saying. But now to the real problem that I have, the real topic for today, which I should, again, if you actually have a brain and mean anything out of most what comes out of even people on that side's mouth, like it should bother you. But how the hell is giving them illegal smartphones, which who's paying for it? It's not those people there. It's all of you paying for those phones, like a solution so you can track them and get a hold of them. Like we have homeless men, women, children, veterans on the streets every day, dying on the streets every day, and hopeless and homeless and everything else kind of list. Vets that are on the streets and not being helped, taken care of, or given any support by the VA after everything they did and sacrifice. And I don't want to hear it unless you've been over there and you've done it. Like, or what thing you did, if you were over there, like you get it. Like we all have brothers and sisters that have been over there and did it, but they're getting shafted. People not knowing where their next meals are coming from, which does include millions of children and elderly people, which are the people we should be making sure are taken care of. The last generation, and then the next generation, like they should definitely be taken care of over billions for illegals. Don't worry, I'm going to get into it. You all remember the hotel rooms they were paying for when they were coming over the border because they were maxed out in all the facilities. Like we remember it, it was happening. Try to deny it, makes you an idiot. But gas prices way up, inflation way up, crime going up. I mean, look at all the smash and grabs just happening, all the carjackings, like all kinds of stuff are up. Not putting any money towards any of that, but they have the money to get the smartphones after they cross so they can keep track of them. Even though I think the number's like 83% they never hear from and don't go to their local ICC or anything to set up any court dates or anything because, again, that's what they do. They're coming here illegally. They don't give a, they're breaking the law when they get here. So they really don't care about our laws. Shucks. Too bad I didn't have a big brain to figure all this out all on my own. Oh, wait, I do. I have a real caring heart. And I care about people in our own country that are having problems. Like, you're in another country having problems. Do it the right way. But homeless, people in the United States, the stats, at least from a few different agencies, which, first off, HUD, which is Housing and Urban Development, estimates that there's more than 326,000 that's just that were in sheltered homelessness in 2021, living with someone else in a shelter, a church, all those different places that they can go because there are resources, in a bunch of places to go for that. So that was just in sheltered. And the White House stats had the total number at 552,830 or 0.2% of the US population. Yeah, and look how many illegals come in like a month or two span like that, but they're taking care of them, but they can't take care of a little over 500,000. The number at least reports, which you can again prove they have the money to do that. They really have the money to do that, but they just choose not to give a damn because our own people are no problem to take care of everyone else. But roughly 13,000 die per year. The average life expectancy is only 50. Again, living on the streets, malnourishment, disease, like insects, but like everything. We know, just weather, freezing. Like there's so many different elements that get them. Life expectancy is only 50. But here's some, bigger numbers. 89.7% are 24 or older. Over 70% are under the age of 50, 20% are kids, and 42% of street children identify as LGBT. Yeah, this all come from White House. 48% are white, 39.8% black, 13% Hispanic, 61% are male, with 40% of them, of the men being veterans, 8% of homeless vets are women. And again, these stats were coming from the White House and HUD. And if you see 8% of homeless vets are women, that a very large portion of the men on the street are veterans. And the sacrifices they make, their families make, they come back all broken physically, mentally, some scars you can't see. It's not just a garbage phrase on a t-shirt, like it's true. Because because there's a lot of garbage phrases on t-shirts that we all see. Like it's very true. Mental stuff is real. And I know I haven't mentioned him in a while, but Drew, one time we talked, says most of them choose to be that way. Like, many of them are all like, from getting blown up, shot at, like all the things like PTSD and all that, and all the stuff that comes with that, anxiety, rage, depression. Like you get so many, sleepless nights, all kinds of stuff. And then you get no support from the VA. Your family doesn't want to know what to do, and they leave you. And all they need is someone to just give a damn. Just a little bit to try to help them work through it and get the proper support that they need. And if they actually got that, they wouldn't be on there. But choosing to be there, let me give you some of the stuff wrong in people's heads, Drew, after they come back from theirs. You never went. Never joined or anything. Granted, you said you wanted to, but your screws in your ankle. I think you're just doing it just to make me happy. But, come back with some of the stuff that's wrong with all of us. Then come and tell me that they choose to be that way. When a lot of them, like, what are they going to assimilate to with what they did? Especially when they're all screwed up in the head. Like, it just doesn't work that way. Like anyone with an actual heart that says it's because we're compassionate. Like if you're actually compassionate, you would understand that. Most people don't give a damn because they're just selfish pieces of what, or one big pile of. Thank you, Jeff Goldblum. But but most of them aren't. And a lot of substance abuse, mental health is a big one. Like we actually got them fixed so they get off the drugs so they could be a useful member of society again. Like it is actually very possible if anyone gave a damn. The amount of money that they're pouring again towards all of this these people, like, they could very easily take care of that problem if they actually gave a damn about anyone here in the country. Now they worry about everyone everywhere else and just making our country as weak as humanly possible. And then families not knowing where their next meals are coming from and living in, poverty or below it. 11.4% of Americans live in poverty. Was at a record low of 10.4 in 2019 after being up at, I think it was 15.4 in 2010 during, that big recession there that happened. But yeah, it was down to record low at 10.4 in 2019 before the pandemic struck, which, bumped all the numbers up before all the crazy people. See, Trump, like, because everything shut down. A lot of people couldn't work, and that just threw everyone for a loop. Like, let's just be honest and not be idiots. And there's a lot of states where it didn't happen because people got to keep working because people use their brains. But during the pandemic, 35% of those in poverty were food insecure, and 10.5% of all U.S. households were food insecure. Again, you saw the lines at the food banks everywhere because people were out of work. There's shortages of stuff. People couldn't get it. Like, it caused a lot of problems. It's people being out of work and the unemployment, how long it took people to get it or didn't get it. Like, I know people have fought for months. Like, there was a lot of, again, the system wasn't right for that many people to be on there. And that's giving the whole, like, government, like, it really isn't meant to have that many millions of people jump on it at once. I mean, they forced everyone to not be able to go do anything. So, I mean, you think, they would have gave time to implement to get everything so it could have handled it. But again, pandemic hit, which I still say they knew was coming. Fauci guaranteed it. So, but yeah, 4% were in worse shape. Which were in the worst shape, which is people had to skip meals and, were just skipping days of food altogether, which was the same number it was at during 2019 pre-pandemic. So that number stayed the same. Again, just people that were the worst off stayed the worst off, which is a shame. Again, we should be doing something. If we got hundreds of billions for all this, there should be a way to actually, fix so much of it. But there's so many people that leech off the system when they don't have to. They're on, like, every support there is, driving around like an Escalade. They have the Escalade payment. Yeah, we all see it. There's all kinds of stupid stuff. But 7.6% of households with children had at least one food insecure child in 2020, a 1.3% increase from 2019. So that did get worse. 16% of family with children 6 and under were food insecure in 2020. 17% with unemployed parents were food insecure, while 6% with employed parents were in the same category. Again, which makes sense. The number is going to obviously be a lot lower when your parents didn't lose their job and have to get into the system and see how unemployment worked and see how everything, worked out to get all the stuff. Because I know people that had it right away and it worked all the time. I know people that didn't get, like, anything. I know people that waited weeks to get anything. Like, a lot of crazy people that got to keep working. Obviously, it was easier for them because they had the constant flow of cash coming in. So they could, continue to go and get stuff when they weren't waiting on all of it. So, that did throw, again, it goes out with the unemployment system not being ready, all of it. But pandemic threw a lot of crazy into the numbers. And I mean, if you try to argue that with me, I don't have a word I could say into that microphone, at least while that little, screen, a little box on top of the screen says recording. I'm not allowed to say those kind of words then, so I don't get in trouble. But I mean, to try to argue that you really are literally, you're not blinded by the science. No, you're not blinded by science. You're blinded by, leftism. Because that's all I know. A lot of people, that's all they see. They don't care what, drop. Had nothing to do with the pandemic. If there's no people, I'm sorry, but, like, it played a giant role in the whole world, across the country, all of that. Like, it really, really did. And again, it's something that we should be able to, take care of and do better with. If we take care of that many illegals, we could take care of, the homeless population, actually give them the help they need and get them off the streets. Like, that is possible. It's very possible. If you actually put in the work, just like people living in, poverty. The more you let people in illegally, they're going to still be able to work. That takes away jobs from Americans, which then, drives everything down because they're technically, just here waiting for the thing so they can even try to become, which means then they can work under the table. Like, it really does happen. Like, it happens here in Jacksonville, of all places. Like, it happens here, it happens all over the place. And, it drives down wages, like, factories leaving, clothing, yoga, and other places. That makes it worse because there's like it, and people can say all they want, all the idiots, because they all are. I mean, like, literally, I say we should just make the minimum wage like $1 bajillion at this point, over double it. Like, but if you go to places like San Francisco, where Hannah's from, I mean, I think they're what, second on the list, maybe third, for California, San Francisco, like for most homeless people in it. Because she said that she'd make more money, but she'd only be able to afford to like rent a room or a couch in someone's thing, because you can't live on your own. So it might be a rich state, as people call it, but you can't afford to live there without having a million roommates. While here I was alone, living on my own, just off a little bit of money, perfectly fine. There's people in PA working one job in poor state, as people call it, but you could have a job, afford rent or a mortgage and live on your own in said poor states, because they haven't made everything just so unlivable with the price of everything. It's like that goes up, rent goes up, everything goes up with it. So you're not actually making any more money. Basic economics. It's not that hard. And then, other problems, gas prices going up, which makes it harder for people to get, food and all that, which again, there's things we could do to fix that. We all know what those things are, but I'll just leave it at that for another conversation, because they might say they only say they have so many land leases. Notice how they never say how many actual approved drilling permits are on those land leases. Like, they never get into that. They just tell you how many land leases are. Ooh, how many of them do you guys actually have, like, give permits to actually drill on? Like, that's the real question. And as many leases as you want. And notice that's literally, they never mention anything else. But there's things they could do to get that down, which would help all these people with inflation, gas prices, food, like to be able to afford to live better. Inflation rate, like I said, I'm not going over it again, but look up like the price of everything. Like the price of the big 5 dozen egg thing at Walmart doubled. I know, like, chickens didn't suddenly get that high. The water by the gallon, the jugs, when you get them for the one company that I get, is up 30 cents a jug for water. Again, price of everything going up, the price of gas up to ship everything. Like, it makes everything worse. It makes it harder for everybody, and they keep spending more money, which is going to make the problem worse. Just saying, crime's up. Instead of putting money at that, they're actually making it easier for criminals. Again, look at the smash and grabs, look at everything going up, carjackings, all kinds of stuff. It's happening all over the place. I'm not making it up. And again, they have hundreds of billions at this point, probably, for put them in hotels, because they had so many coming across, they couldn't store them at the facilities because they didn't have any more facilities. They're paying for hotel rooms for all these people, food, and then they give them bus ticket or plane ticket to go wherever the hell they want to go on the taxpayer's dime, to communicate and all that. And on the taxpayer's dime to do all that when we don't have any money, because we're just going farther into debt, and inflation is going to keep getting worse because they keep just printing more money to put into the system, which is how we are where we are. Like, that's how inflation works for everyone that doesn't understand that. But it's amazing that they have all the hundreds of billions and trillions to give that, other countries, everything, but they don't have anything to fix our homeless problem, or our hunger problem, poverty stricken. Like, they don't have any problem to fix anything wrong with us and anything going on here, crime, none of that. But they always seem to find money to up inflation and to spend on illegals and gender studies in other countries and everything, because we're not the priority of them. They really don't give a damn. You can say you're as compassionate as you want. You're not, if you're supporting this and against Americans who are on the streets because of bad things happening in life. Trust me, it's the way it is. You have to be a jackass to not think so. It's just mind altering to me. Everyone's all for that. And we have even less homeless that are coming across the border damn near every month in the whole country. Like, we could do something. Well, they choose to do that on their own. Well, these people might not chose to be where they came from, but they chose to illegally come into the country. Like, they broke the law to come and cross the border. They've even admitted that's a criminal act to do it. But yet here we are giving them all that when our own people are getting shafted, to include men, women, children, veterans, all kinds of people every day. And I'm sorry, that's pathetic. And if you agree with that, I'm not even sorry. You're what's wrong with the whole thing and driving the whole ball of wax farther down. Like, you are actually an idiot. You're stupid. Like, you're a narcissistic scumbag. If you're all for everything they're doing there and saying, screw it, people can, suffer, deal with it. like we're getting told not to travel anywhere, but they're sending illegals coming from third world countries and putting them wherever the hell they want to. Like that's okay, normal. So well, they were like, it's just they have money for everything, but it takes so much less just to solve our own problems to get everything function. But they don't care. No matter how much they say they cared, why is the problem still there? They've been saying they're going to take care of it for years. It's like the war on drugs. It's amazing how it just keeps getting worse. It's convenience, isn't it? We give all this, buy all these COVID vaccines and give it to people from something that has such a high, survival rate, and give other batches to other countries. But I mean, look at the people dying because they can't afford, like cancer treatments and stuff because they're so high. Like if you actually use your brain, we give food and relief to other countries when our own people are starving. They always have money for all of that. Veterans killing themselves and homeless and everything else that's going on just in that system. The whole thing. Never have, a thing for that, but they have, all the money and answers for other countries. And I'm sorry, their actions, no matter how much they say it, most of these people have been saying the same thing over and over again for decades, and it's still there. But there's idiots that fall for it every time. And, you are actually 100% unequivocally what is wrong with the country. I'm trying to be a dick, but we have money for smartphones for them, but our own people are homeless, starving, dying, suiciding, overdosing. Like nothing for that, but we have all the hundreds of billions of dollars we ever could use to give illegals hotel rooms and transportation and food and cell phones and everything. Like, I'm sorry, that's ass backwards. And so are you. But I'm going to jump off before I get, vulgar and mean. I'm trying to turn a new leaf. I'm going to get vulgar and mean with MSN because, my Microsoft account, because, someone in Moscow tried to hack into it. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to have some words for all of that situation, but I'm going to save you guys that. So enjoy your weekend. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for listening, watching. Don't forget, follow along. Like the videos, Cloud Hub, YouTube, Rumble, on Right Only. It's not getting me anywhere. But, please, just go on this, platforms, subscribe, like each video, write a little comment. Like it only takes a minute to do all of that, and share it out on your socials because we need to get this thing growing. How much Facebook hates me, we need to get it growing. If you're listening to it, again, if you're on Good Pods or Reason, again, subscribe, like, and follow along on Apple and Google Podcast, Spotify, whatever you prefer on your phone. Just so I can have another subscriber there, and turn your notifications on, because then you'll have them all if you don't see me share it on one of those platforms, if you don't see it. But otherwise, Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, Stitcher, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, Amazon Podcasts, Audible, like it's all over, the place. So, Truth, like I'll put the audio on there just because, but everywhere, like trying to get as many people on as I can. So please, though, follow along and share it out on everything. Like all the followers and the likes and the shares and the comments really do help everything. And I do greatly appreciate it. I really want to see this thing keep growing, because every time it starts going somewhere, for some reason, the numbers die off because, Facebook shadow bans me. No one can see anything, but, the algorithm hates me, but screw them. It's going to keep growing anyway. So enjoy your weekend. Be good to each other. Try to enjoy it. I don't know what the weather's like where you are, but try to make the most out of it. Enjoy the racing. There's a lot of racing on this weekend. If you're a racing fan, check out the Racing with Jesse Rucinski show, because I'll tell you everything, and then watch that. There's a lot of good stuff. But be good to each other. Have a good weekend. I'll be back on Tuesday unless something egregiously stupid happens. So enjoy your weekend. And until then, my friends, peace.